What's going on, guys? Time for another roster review. This one's for the month of February. Now, when you guys loaded into the game today, you might have seen Made on iPad and wondered what this was about. Basically, it was some sort of like campaign they did where I guess some artists made authentic goalie helmets on an iPad and they actually put them in the game. So pretty cool to see. The first one here, of course, is Thatcher Demko. Now, I don't know if any of these helmets are actually authentic this season, but they are helmets that, these goalies have worn in the past, which is a lot better than what we have right now, of course, being just, generic helmets. For example, the Stuart Skinner one right here, I'm pretty sure he wore last season, so 23-24. So you got Samuel Montembeault, Linus Ullmark, Jeremy Swayman, Jacob Markstrom, and finally there, Joseph Woll. So definitely a surprise to see them add that today, but definitely very cool. Hopefully, maybe NHL 26, we can actually have, 32 authentic goalie helmets, even if they're authentic to like the previous season. Again, way better than generic. But next year, guys, we're getting into the roster review. So as always, you want to go over to more, click active rosters, download the most recent one, which is going to be February 20th, 2025. Click A or X on that, download your roster, and you're good to go. And now next year, guys, I'll point out all the players who got upgrades and downgrades. First, we'll do the skaters, then the goaltenders. Starting off here with the Anaheim Ducks. I think the first player is actually Jackson Lacombe. Got a +2, now an 83. Definitely well deserved. Playing top pair there for the Ducks. Medium top 4 potential. Should be a solid player in franchise. After that, Zellweger here actually dropped by 2, now an 82. I actually don't mind that. I think that's more fair than when he was an 84. I would have him with elite potential, though, opposed to medium top 4. Mintyukov here also got downgraded, was an 83, now an 82. Again, I don't think that's too bad. He's got the elite potential. Trevor Zegras here actually did not get touched, but I just saw him absolutely, cheap shot Michael Rasmussen last night with the shoulder, the elbow to the head, no call. Even as a biased Red Wings fan, Zegras should be higher rated than this. I think 82 is definitely just kind of too harsh for him. Like, they have the same rating as Cutter Gauthier, who hasn't proven anything yet in his NHL career. And I think Zegras is actually averaging more points per game this season than Gauthier. So definitely, an interesting option. After that, I think Isaac Lundstrom here as well actually got downgraded by 1 from 81 to an 80. And I want to say the rest of the Ducks there are the same. After that, guys, you got the Boston Bruins. The first change you'll notice is Charlie McAvoy being downgraded from a 91 to a 90. I know he hasn't been scoring as much, so I feel like 90 is probably fine for Charlie McAvoy. I'm actually looking at all the other players here. Boston's actually only got 1 upgrade, a ton of downgrades though. So after him, we're actually going to go to Charlie Coyle. So passing most of these guys, low right there is actually the only player on the team with the upgrade from 82 to 83. And like I said, Charlie Coyle here got a downgrade by 1, 84 to 83. Trent Frederick as well got downgraded by 1. Justin Brazeau there, I think, got an upgrade last time, has been touched since. And then the other downgrade here on the Bruins is actually Johnny Beecher, all the way down to an 80. And you guys can see the rest of the players here. Of course, Wahlstrom now on the team after being picked up off waivers. Buffalo Sabres up next. Rasmus Dahlin got a +1, now a 92. I think Dahlin's a very good defenseman. 92, though, it seems like maybe a bit high for him. You guys can let me know. Maybe I'm underrating him. I feel like a 91. On my mind, he was kind of perfect. I think there's another upgrade for the Sabres and then a couple downgrades here. They're actually all kind of lower rated players, which is kind of funny because, of course, Buffalo, last in the NHL, you would expect, more of their guys to get downgraded. Byram 86. I still think it's a bit of an overrating. Same with JJ Peterka 86. I don't know if, we quite earned that yet. Even Zucker 85. I don't quite know about those ones, but going down here, guys, we actually got to go quite a bit. So Henri Jokiharju, I actually thought played pretty well for Finland at the Four Nations. Unfortunately for him, he got downgraded here by 1 from 81 to an 80. And then also to Sam Lafferty. He got downgraded from 80 to 79. And I almost missed him here, but Kulich actually got a +2 upgrade from a 78 to 80. And that was the only changes for the Sabres. Again, kind of surprising, just, looking at where they are in the standings. Next up, guys, we got the Calgary Flames, so no changes to their top players. The first one's actually Morgan Frost getting a +1, now an 83. I don't know why he's got elite potential. I definitely would not give him that. I think he might have had it before, too. Doesn't make sense. He's definitely like a medium top 6 guy. Coronado here also got a +1, now an 83. And then after that, they actually just got a couple downgrades. Joel Farabee is one from 82 to 81. I don't agree with that at all. The dude had 50 points last season, and you have him as an 81. Like, he's not even having that bad of a season. Like, if he was doing, absolutely dreadful, then maybe, but 50 points last season, to drop him all the way to 81 already just doesn't make sense. Barry did get dropped by 1 from an 81 to an 80. Does make more sense for Tyson Barrie. So, yeah, just a few changes for the Flames. And right there, you guys can see Mika Rantanen, of course, now on the Carolina Hurricanes. So no change to any of their top players. Jacob Slavin, honestly, after watching him in Four Nations, he was so good defensively. You could bump him up to a 90. I'd probably also have him as a defensive defenseman. Not probably, I definitely would post a two-way. Now, Seth Jarvis here got a +1 from 87 to 88. Obviously, he's been a very good player. With elite potential, you could probably leave him at 87. It might be more fair in terms of just the franchise. After that, let's see. Sean Walker got a downgrade from 84 to 83. I'm kind of surprised. Like, the Carolina Hurricanes defense has actually been the best defensive core in the NHL by far. I was looking at something actually the other day where, like, all three of their D pairs are part of the top 6 D pairs in the NHL, which is absolutely incredible. Of course, Taylor Hall now on the team as well. Jackson Blake here got a small upgrade, +1 to an 80, and then Carey actually got downgraded by 1 to an 80. I will say Blake should probably have medium top 6, not medium top 9. Other than that, though, it looks fine. Now, in regards to Chicago, guys, kind of funny since they're, like, you know, doing terrible this season. They've only had a couple changes, both very minor. The first here, Frank Nazar got a +1, and then the second is Kershaw got a -1. Also, I see his potential is low top 9. I say it should be at least, you know, medium top 9. Probably be more fair. Now, next year, guys, we got the Colorado Avalanche. So starting off here, you got Nathan MacKinnon, still 96, 1 overall behind McDavid. Makar here's a 95. Now, Makar has not changed, but I got to point something out. You guys let me know in the comments section. What do you think about Quinn Hughes being higher rated than Cale Makar? So in this roster update, they gave Quinn Hughes a +1. Before, the two of them were tied at 95. Now Quinn's the higher rated of the two at 96. I gotta say, I disagree, and I'm a huge Quinn Hughes fan. I loved him at Michigan. Obviously, he's been a beast in the NHL, but I think these two are neck and neck. Having Quinn Hughes one higher is definitely an interesting choice. I think that might be a bit of that, you know, Vancouver bias we're seeing from EA. Now, I'm sure, you know, Canucks fans are going to be saying I'm a hater, but, like, when I'm saying that, you know, Hughes should be a 95 instead of a 96, I'm still saying he's, like, absolutely incredible. I'm just saying, you know, him and Makar are tied. Look at the rest of the team there. Martin H is a 91. I think that's a bit high for him. He still has a high rating based on his hot start to the season. They never really, like, pulled that back after he kind of came back down to earth. So I would have him like an 89, maybe a 90. Jonathan Duran here, for instance, he got a +1 down 85. A big part of that is just him riding shotgun on McKinnon's line. I know he's played a lot better since coming to the Avalanche from Montreal, but 85, like, same rating as Gabe Landeskog. Like, what are we doing here? Terry Lekkinen there also got a +1. He's down 85. I think that makes a bit more sense, as he does have a very good defensive game. And looking at his stats, I would actually say his defensive rating there is too low rated. So Lekkonen's fine, but yeah, Duran, I think I would go 84 max on. After that, Casey Middlestat got a big downgrade from 87 to 85, which, I mean, not having as good of a season as he did last year, I would probably still leave his potential there at medium top 6. You could even go low elite. Middlestat, though, like 1-to-1 is obviously a better player than Duran. So again, I don't know, interesting choices where there's way too much recency bias and they're not really looking at players, not even a career, just looking at like literally last season and this season would be enough to kind of fix some of these ratings. Ross Colton there also got a -1, now an 84. He had a really good start to the season, then slowed down after. Trying to see here some other ones. I want to say Kiviranta actually got a +1, now an 80. Wood there got a -1, now an 80. I mean, $2.5 million for 5 years. You'd hope he's a bit better than 80, even though it's cheap. It's a long-term contract. So I think that's the changes for the Avs. Like I said, guys, comment section below. Who would you have higher rated, Makar or Hughes, if you had to pick one? Couldn't have a tie. Now, Columbus here, Zach Werenski is now a 90. He's been an absolute beast all year. For me, he's in the top 3 defensemen for this season with Makar, with Hughes. So saying that, and based on the EA ratings, I'm actually surprised he didn't get more than a +1. Like, personally, I think 90... the way I would do ratings, I think is pretty fair for Werenski, ties him with McAvoy. But if you're just looking at this year, Werenski should be a 94. So interesting that he's not, you know, like I said, based on EA's rating system. After that, Marchenko there got a big upgrade. Now an 88. Again, he's having an unreal season. Should he be an 88 overall? Like, I'm trying to think, who can we compare that to? One less than Tage Thompson. I do not think so. Like I said, I don't really like how much recency bias is involved with these. I think it's way too much. It just makes things unrealistic, in my opinion, based on kind of trade value. As when teams are trading for guys, they're not just looking at the last 3 months. They're looking at least the last couple, if not last few seasons. Also, too, guys, I should point out Monahan here got a +1 as well, which is good to see. He's having a very solid season. Voronkov, I think, also got a +1. Kent Johnson here, I think, got an upgrade in the last roster, so him being 85, I think, is fine. Is he better than Adam Fantilli? See, again, I don't know about that one. Fantilli with, you know, more ice time once Monahan got injured has actually been playing really, really well. I'd probably have them both like 84, probably a little bit more fair. The rest of the team here, Olivier actually got a +1. 81 there as a grinder. Should definitely be an enforcer. If you're going to have that player type in the game, he's one of the, you know, few guys that definitely would make sense to have it. Now, good Branson here. He got a -1 down to a 79, which, you know, I think is fair. Dubba Blues also got an upgrade. I want to say he was like 76, now a 78. And now next year, guys, we got the Dallas Stars. Haskin, of course, got that big injury. Couldn't play in 4 Nations. Tough to see. I'd actually upgrade his potential to high elite instead of medium elite. And I think 91 for him, you know, is fair. You got Werenski there at a 90. Haskin, of course, probably a top 10, if not top 6, 7 defensemen in the entire NHL. So not too many moves for Dallas. Hintz here got downgraded by 1 to an 87. Again, is Duchesne a better player than Hintz? He's having a better season. I'd probably flip those ratings though. Granlund as well as an 87, after playing well with the Sharks. That's probably still a bit too high. Thomas Harley, I think, is also a tad too high. Wyatt Johnston here actually got a +1, now an 86. So really funny, I got to point out, last update, I was kind of, giving them a hard time. Johnston was like an 85, I think, tied with Stankoven. Now Johnston's 86, Stankoven's 84 because, this season Johnston's doing better. Plus, in the past, he's done better, actually playing in the NHL. So maybe EA's watching my videos. He definitely deserves elite potential. I'm not sure why he's not getting that. And I think the only other change on the Dallas Stars is Maverick Bjork here getting a +1, now an 81. Other than that, they're staying the same. And now next year, guys, we got my team, the Detroit Red Wings. So you can see here, Raymond and Larkin are actually tied, both 89 overalls with EA's ratings. I personally would give the edge to Larkin. I mean, I don't know if that means making Larkin a 90 or making Raymond an 88, but I do think Larkin is still the better player, although Raymond's having an unreal year, which I'd love to see. Sider, DeBrincat, Kane probably still a bit high there at 86. Only some minor changes for them. Rasmussen here got dropped by 1, 83 to 82. Not, terrible. It's fine, I guess. Gustin here, I probably would have lower rated than 82, to be honest. After that, Casper there, 81 elite, I think is good, especially with how he's played of recent. Berggren there got a +1, now an 80. I think Mott there got downgraded to 78, which is fine. And then Soderblom got a +1, now a 78. And next year, guys, we got the Edmonton Oilers starting off with the golden goal, Connor McDavid. No change for him, still 97 there, high franchise. And now Leon Draisaitl here's a 96 now. He got a +1. I mean, leading the NHL in goals. I think he's second in points behind McKinnon. Last year, he had 106. I mean, he's had 100 the last 3 years. Probably will have 100 again this season. 96 for Leon. I mean, you guys let me know. I think it's not that bad. I believe he was a 95 before. Might have started the year at a 94. McKinnon's also a 96. I know some people say McKinnon should probably be the same as McDavid. Draisaitl, McKinnon, same rating. I don't know. Like, Draisaitl should be a 95 or a 96. It's probably just not worth, arguing too much about. Hyman here got downgraded by 1. He's an 87 now, so missed it on Team Canada. Now EA's downgraded him. Nurse here got a +1, actually, now an 85. Arvidsson got a -1 to 83. After that, I think Henrique here also got a -1, now an 81. Now, Corey Perry here got a +1 up to an 80. I mean, he does fine, like, in the role that they have him in, but Cole's in there also got a +1, now a 79. I think that's it. Now, John Klingberg, of course, added to the game. You can see there, 78 overall. I mean, it's probably a tad low. I think Klingberg should at least be, like, a 79. Probably have better passing, offensive awareness stats as well. And next year, guys, we got the Florida Panthers. Almost no changes for them. You guys can see all the current ratings. Again, I think Reinhardt 93 is probably a tad too high. The rest of it, though, I think is pretty good. So the only change actually for them, Samoskevich here got a +1. He's now an 80. And then also Blinsky's, hopefully I said that right. He got a +1, now 79. Next year, guys, look at the LA Kings, another team. Really not too many changes. So the first one, Philip Deneau got downgraded by 1 from 86 to 85, which I do think is pretty fair. Now moving on, Jordan Spence actually got a +1 up to an 83. He's been playing pretty good. Same rating as Gavrikov. I don't know about that. I think Gavrikov is honestly pretty solid defenseman. Maybe have him like 84. Laferriere here got an upgrade in the last roster update. Turcotte got a +1, now an 80. Also his position there should definitely be center/left wing. He's been playing first line left wing a little bit on this team. And I actually missed the final change here, guys, for the LA Kings. It's Trevor Moore here actually getting downgraded by 1 from an 85 to 84. And now next up, guys, we got the Minnesota Wild. Only one change for them. I still feel like Kaprizov 95 might be a touch high. I'd probably have him like 94. Matt Boldy, honestly, maybe you could even make an 89. I think he is that good. But the one change here, guys, Marco Rossi getting a +2 from 85 to 87. I think they've also boosted his potential from like high top 6 to medium elite. I will say the potential increase makes sense, but Rossi being 87 already does not make any sense to me. Last season, in a full year, he had 40 points, so didn't even hit the 50-point mark. Now, this year he is playing pretty well, like, pretty close to a point per game, but to have him at 87 already seems kind of crazy to me. The same rating as Brock Faber, who was on the top D pair for the U.S. Four Nations team. Like, I don't know. Faber, I think, also should probably be, at least an 89. He's a very, very good defenseman, obviously young, but, like, compare Rossi here to Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe's having a solid season, coming off 70 points the last couple years. Or like Zach Hyman here, had 50 goals last year. The year before that, he was over a point per game. Rossi, under a point per game this year, but he's close to it. And the year before that, he had 40. We're making him an 87. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. A lot of people think I'm biased sometimes, things like that, and it's not that at all. I'm literally just trying to figure out like the formula, the format that EA uses to rate their players, because as I'm showing you guys, a lot of the times things just don't seem consistent from team to team, player to player. So that's usually like what I like to point out. I just try to be, looking at the numbers and seeing, what makes sense, what doesn't. And now the Montreal Canadiens here, guys, have actually had a ton of upgrades. No changes to Suzuki or Caulfield. I think the first one's Caden Goalie. He got a +1, now an 86. Obviously, a very solid defenseman for them. Lane Hudson there also got a +1, now an 86. He's having a good rookie year. That's probably a tad high on Hudson, though. Defensive awareness, 88. He does not play enough defense, I don't think, to justify that. But the offensive stats, the skating could honestly be higher than they are. Agility, though, 93, good to see. Endurance could also be a lot higher. So, yeah, they could probably change his rating around where he's still as good offensively as he currently is, but lower the defensive rating, probably drop him to like an 85. Let's see. So, like I said, Montreal here, a lot of guys going up. Evans there got a +1, now an 84. Alexander Carrier here also got a +1, and now an 82. And then Joel Armia here got a +1, 81. And then Heineman, I think he got upgraded last time. Upgraded again, and now a 79. The only drop to them, I think, was Bezzetta here, down by 1 from a 78 to a 77. And now next year, guys, we got the Nashville Predators, of course, a team underperforming big time this year. None of the top guys really got changed. Nyquist, the first one, got a -1 from 84 to 83. Definitely not having anywhere close to the season he had last year, putting up 75 points. Tommy Novak, though, got a +1, and now an 82. After that, I think it's just a bunch of like younger guys who actually had rating changes. Jankowski here, though, got a -1, 79. And then I think Svechkov got a +1. Same with Blankenberg and Zachary Leroux. So all of them being 78, of course, is a bit of a boost there for franchise. Joakim Kamel, still elite potential. I mean, 20 hasn't really broken out yet. It was a 17th pick, 2022. They should definitely downgrade that. Now, next year, guys, we have the Devils. So starting off here, Jesper Bratt got a +1, now a 92. I thought at 91 he was a bit high. Now, he has been having incredible years, over a point per game. But before this season, like his best season was last year, point per game. A couple 70-point seasons. I don't know, again, like you look at other guys with these numbers, even if he ends up, say, with 90 points this year, 92 overall does still seem, I think, a bit high on him. Again, I think 91 is probably the highest I would personally go. After that, Brendan Dillon here actually got a +1 and now an 85. I think, let's see, Dawson Mercer got a -1 to 83. You can see Nemets there actually in the NHL right now. Haller got a -1 and down to an 82. And then I think the final upgrade is actually Andre Palat getting a +1, now an 81. I know my good buddy Deke, that's his favorite player, so nice to see him gain a bit of an upgrade. And now next you guys got the New York Islanders. The first change they made was actually dropping Barzal from an 88 to an 87. And I'm kind of surprised with this change, as since the last roster update, he was about a point per game, and then he got injured. So I don't know, like maybe they thought like they should have changed him beforehand, because it definitely doesn't make sense. Like I said, looking at his production since the last roster update, and right now he's injured. I personally would have left Barzal at 88. Anders Lee here actually got a +1 and now an 85. Tispakov here got a +1, now an 84. They definitely had him very underrated to start the year, probably just because maybe they didn't know much about him. Now Anthony Duclair got downgraded by 1 to an 83. I think Simon Holmstrom here also got a +1 up to an 83. He did. I should have mentioned Palmieri there. Also got a +1 at 284. And I think that is it for the New York Islanders, but I'll just show you guys the rest of the ratings. Of course, Adam Boqvist there now on the team. I believe they got him off waivers from the Panthers. You can see Tony DeAngelo in-game there with a face and everything. Prunovich as well from the trade. So right there's a look at that roster. And now next up, guys, we got the other New York team in the Rangers. Panarin there staying at 95, Fox at 92. I know a lot of American fans, they probably want Fox downgraded to like an 82 after that Four Nation performance. But in my opinion, definitely still is a top 5 defenseman in the league. Down JT Miller here actually did get downgraded by 1 to a 91. I think, definitely more fair having him there. Maybe even a 90. Zibanejad also got dropped by 1 to 87. Now, Will Cooley, I talked a bunch about him last roster video, saying how he was too high rated. And they gave him a +1, now an 86, tied with Alexis Lafreniere. I don't understand what this is based off of. I'm a huge fan of his. He was captain of the Spitfires only a couple years ago, but just looking at the stats, makes no sense. 21 points in a full season last year. This year he's got 30 and 57, so he's averaging about a point every other game. That gives him what, like maybe 45 by the end of the season? How does that make you an 86? I just don't understand it. And again, that's like me actually being biased on him being good. I remember last season I actually was bumping up his rating as I thought they had him, too low. But this year, I mean, it just makes no sense to me. I should mention Lafreniere did get downgraded by 1 to that 86. And I think that is pretty fair. Like, the Rangers are underperforming, but like I said, just some of these decisions don't make a ton of sense. Kreider as well got downgraded by 1 to 85. Smith here actually got a +1 to 84. Lindgren got downgraded by 1 to 84. Same with Kondre Miller. I think Kaliev there, of course, they just picked up. Hopefully, he can find his way with them. He actually got downgraded, though, which, makes sense. Your team putting you on waivers. And then finally, Jimmy Vesey here also got downgraded by 1. He's now an 80. So, again, I mean, most of these do make sense, but Will Cooley, same rating as Lafreniere's. an interesting choice. And now next up, guys, we got the Ottawa Senators. Sens fans will like this. No downgrades on your team. The first change is actually Jake Sanderson get a +1, now an 87. So I know Sens fans are saying, you know, he's better than Chabot, and the ratings definitely reflect that now. Chabot's in the second power play, Sanderson's on the first, plus plays better defensively. Him having wheels, though, I don't remember him being that fast. Sens fans, let me know. After that, I think the next change is actually going to be Shane Pinto got a +1, now an 83. Same goes for Nick Jensen, got a +1, up to an 83. He definitely was like too low rated at the start of the year. EA was kind of doing him dirty. 83 makes a lot more sense. I think Adam Gaudette here also got a +1. Double checking, he did. Now an 81, of course. Really good start to the year, scoring a bunch. 81, you know, I probably wouldn't have him any higher than that, though, and I think that's actually all the changes there for the Sens. And now the Philadelphia Flyers here, guys, have one single change. I will point out, Matthew Michkov, 87 overall off the rip. Like, is he a better player substantially than Adam Fantilli, who's an 84? I don't think so. Michkov's got a slight lead in points per game this season, but obviously Fantilli being a center, better defensive game. I think he's also more physical. I don't know. That's just a weird one to me. I mentioned before, too, definitely, I would make Michkov a sniper, although he does have a really good playmaking game. You know, I would still make McDavid a playmaker, even after he put up 60 goals a couple seasons ago. Now, after that, guys, like I said, the only one change here to the Philadelphia Flyers is actually Kuzmenko being dropped in rating from 83 to 82. I saw actually Jay Fresh tweet, though, where he says he's the slowest player in the league, so I'd also drop his speed. Right now, it's average, if not above average, so drop that a ton. Drysdale as well probably should not be mediumly potential anymore. Other than that, I guess, you know, the Flyers are fine. Ristolainen still being medium elite is pretty funny, but due to his age, does not matter. And now look at the Penguins next year, guys. You got Sid the Kid starting out. No change for him, although I would add the born leader X Factor somewhere to his player. He's been the captain of the Penguins for 20 years now, captained so many Canadian teams. I feel like, you know, that X Factor would fit him more than almost anybody. For the Penguins, though, you actually have a couple upgrades. Raquel and Russ there, both getting +1s from 84s to 85s. If they didn't have such, you know, long-term contracts, I could see the Penguins moving on from them this trade deadline, but maybe that's something that happens this summer. Joseph here actually got a -1 from 83 to 82. I think I actually mentioned last time how like 83 was too high for him. 82, honestly, might still be a bit high as well. Graves there also got downgraded by 1 to 81. And then finally, if I can find him, or he might even be in the AHL, he is. But Ponomarev got dropped from 77 to a 76. Looking at the San Jose Sharks here, guys. Jake Wallman got a +1, now an 87. Imagine paying a second-round pick for somebody to take away your 87 overall defenseman. Absolutely unreal. Is Wallman an 87 D-man? I mean, I know I'm a sour Red Wings fan. We paid to get him away. I don't think so. I think most people would agree that's probably too high for Jake Wallman. We probably don't have to go too far to find like a similar, you know, player. Is he as good as Travis Sanheim on the Flyers? I don't think so. I don't think probably anyone would make that argument either. After him, Celebrini at 87 also got a +1. So this is where we kind of get into where like ratings are different, I think, for play now than franchise mode. Play now, Celebrini 87 is fine. Franchise mode, I think, you know, starting him out that high rated right out of the draft is a little bit game breaking with his potential as well. He's going to kind of grow way too fast. I would personally have him start a little bit lower. Unfortunately, there's no, you know, rating differential for play now in franchise mode. So I would personally, you know, lean towards having it be more accurate for franchise mode. That matters more than just your simple play now, but it is what it is. Like I said, you know, for play now, 87 is fine. I'd probably have him no higher than 85, though, just to make sure he doesn't grow too quickly, too fast. Because, again, for franchise, this is like what his rating is day one NHL, not what it is at the end of the season, which, of course, is what they're doing here. Eklund as well got a +1 now in 86. Again, I think that's probably a bit too high for him. I'd probably have him 84, maybe 85. You can kind of just compare him to Raquel and Rust, who, of course, have had, you know, really good seasons. Those guys are both 1 overall below William Eklund, who's a lot younger and unproven. I don't know if I agree with that. Couture should definitely be LTIR'd at this point, you know, drop his rating there to 70 and make his contract league min, so it does not matter. And now after that, guys, I think just a couple downgrades for the Sharks. Liljegren there, -1 from 83, and then also 2, if I can find him, probably all the way down here. Costin got a -1 from an 80 to a 79. I believe that is it. And now next you guys got the Seattle Kraken, Montour, Dunn, both still 88s. I think I mentioned before, I feel like Dunn should honestly be the higher rated of the two. Chandler Stevenson, 86 still. I don't know if I agree with that. Like, I would have him at probably 85 max. He has not looked that great this year. I think he started to play a little bit better, but still, not just production-wise, but like analytically, defensively, he's not been great for the Kraken. Now, Tolvanen here, I believe, got a +1. He did. Now in 84, Riker Evans got the same thing. He's been playing really well, I think, his rookie season. have to go a bit further down here. They got a ton of like mid 80 players. Kako got a +1 now in 83. He's looked really good since being traded over there. Lowly potential, I think, is perfect. So honestly, yeah, they got him right. I would make him, though, a two-way forward more than a power forward. Shane Wright as well got a nice upgrade from a 79, I believe, to an 82. So +3. He's looked pretty good, playing like 3C for the Kraken, producing pretty well. Hopefully can kind of continue to grow on that and really be that top player that everyone expected. Yanni Gord there got a -1, 83 to 82. Cardi as well got a -1 to an 80. And I think that is it there for the Seattle Kraken. Now, next up, guys, we got the St. Louis Blues. I'm going to mention it every video until they fix it. Robert Thomas should be a playmaker, not a two-way forward, and Robert Thomas should not have wheels. Change that for third eye. Very good playmaker, but he's not speedy. And although he is solid defensively, his playmaking ability, is definitely his best one, so that is what the player type should reflect. Now, St. Louis here, guys, you got Dylan Holloway getting a +1, now an 85. I definitely would rather probably have him than a third-round pick. I want to say it was. The Blues got him for absolute robbery there with the Oilers. Braden Shen here actually got an upgrade. I thought he was higher rated than this, but he was an 83. Now he's an 84. 83 is way too low for him. Broberg as well got a +1, now an 84. Probably rather have him than a second-round pick. Cam Fowler, of course, is on the team. Look at the rest of these guys here. Matthew Joseph actually got a -1, so tough day for the Joseph brothers, both getting downgraded. After that, Zachary Bolduc got a +2, now it's 79. And then Nathan Walker here got a +1, now it's 78, so shout out to the Aussies. And next up, guys, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning. Nikita Kucherov here also got a +1, now 96. So him, Draisaitl, Hughes, all joining that 96 club with Nathan McKinnon. I would say Kucherov, 96 isn't too bad. Obviously, he's an absolute beast. Now, I feel like 95 might make a bit more sense for him just because he doesn't have a great defensive game. But honestly, 96, Kucherov is so good. I'm not going to really argue it. Brendan Hagel here as well. I was talking about him earlier. Got a +1, now an 89. He honestly is so good. Is 89 a little bit too high, though, for him? I don't know. Like, he is such a solid player. I think that's probably okay. After that, Darren Radish here got a +1, now an 84. And then I think after that, Chaffee got a +1 to a 79. And if I can see him, he's actually must be an AHL, but they have here Connor Sherry got a -2 down to a 77. And now next up, guys, we got the Toronto Maple Leafs here. Mitch Marner getting a +1 from a 92 to a 93. We definitely saw that at the Four Nations. Obviously scored the game winner versus Sweden and then assisted the golden goal against the Americans. After him, Tavares got a +1, now an 88. I think I did mention him being a little bit too low before, so good to see him get upgraded. Now Jake McCabe here also got a +1 up to an 85. Let's see after that. I believe Max Domi got downgraded by 1 to 82. And then where is he? Bob McCann here got a +3, now an 81. I saw someone say he should be an 84 as Robertson was 82, but these two guys are now the same. I think 81s for both of them is probably fine. Maybe McCann you can make an 82. I probably would go no higher, and I believe that's actually all the changes there for the Leafs. And now looking at Utah here, guys, Clayton Keller saying the same. Dylan Gunther, those up to an 88. I wasn't too sure when they signed that contract last summer, like whether or not that'd be a good deal, but looking like it is. Should he be 88 already? Again, kind of like the similar argument to Macklin Celebrini. I probably would, stick with him at 87. Sergachev there, no change. Cooley's up to an 87. Cooley's looked really, really good this season. I'd probably have, honestly, like him and Gunther, same rating there. Kesselring got a +1, now an 85. Is Kesselring that good? It's kind of crazy. I mean, obviously not a point-producing defenseman. He just plays a solid game. Maybe 85, 84 probably makes more sense. Like, would anyone choose him over John Marino? I don't know. Like, Utah fans, if there's any Utah fans, I apologize. Let me know in the comments section. I haven't really watched too much Utah hockey this season. Now, Barrett Hayton here got a +1, now an 83. I'd probably change his potential to, like, high top 9, if not medium top 6. Low top 6, definitely an interesting choice for him. Should mention, too, Bukestad got a -1 there, 283, which I think, does make sense. Jack McBain as well got dropped by 1 to an 82. And I think that is all the changes here for Utah. You guys can see all the depth, though, on that team. And next year, guys, the Vancouver Canucks obviously already touched on Quinn Hughes. Like I said, I think him and McCarr should be the same rating. Whether you make that a 95 or a 96, I guess is up to you. PD here being dropped to an 88. I don't know. I know he's kind of struggled this year. Probably a little bit harsh. I think he should be at least an 89. Maybe even a 90. I feel like there's a lot of recency bias here that's, putting him down. I will say, like, mediumly potential post to high elite definitely makes more sense for PD at this point. And now after him, I think the next change is going to be Jake DeBrusk. He got a -1 from 86 to 85. DeBrusk being 85, does make sense to me. Hiddle's rating there, not touched, probably fine. Pedersen, I think, honestly, could probably bump up a little bit. Maybe make him like an 85, especially like if Kesseling's an 85, I think Pedersen is a better defenseman. Myers being 84, yeah, so like Myers is definitely not as good as Marcus Pedersen. I think 85, 83 as the changes I would make there. Kiefer Sherwood here got a +1, now an 83. Joshua there, I think he got downgraded last time. Looks like he got downgraded again. again, for a guy coming back from cancer, it seems a bit harsh. Just my opinion, though. After that, Susie there got a downgrade to 81. Let's see. I know they got others. Forbert there got a -1 to 80. The other Elias Pettersson here, kind of funny. He actually got a +2 to a 79. So he took the other PD's rating, gave it to himself. That is actually really funny. Juleson there also got a -1 to a 75. I think that is it for the Canucks. And next up, guys, you got the Vegas Golden Knights. Jack Eichel here is now at 94. I mean, based off like the other ratings, it probably does make sense. This ties him with Jack Hughes. I think that is pretty fair. After that, not too many changes. Carlson got a -1 to an 84. I think he probably could have stayed at 85. Duro 5 here also got an upgrade, now an 84, which I think, again, is pretty fair. After that, Olsen got a +1, now an 81. In terms of the downgrades, I think I missed one person. It's actually Alexander Holtz. He got a downgrade there from an 81 to an 80. So, yeah, overall, I think the Vegas changes actually do make sense. And now Washington here, guys, has a ton of upgrades. Hopefully I don't miss them all. The first one is Alex Ovechkin up to a 91. I mean, the shot there should be that good, if not better, but is Ovi still a 91 overall player? I mean, if you guys watch him score and stuff, it's mostly like power play in his office or like empty netters. I know he had a hat trick the other night, but Ovi 91 I think is a bit high rated. Just make sure, leave his shot insane. I just think, 91 is a bit... They're boosting him because of the goal record, and I guess, whatever, it's fine, it's fun. After that, Jacob Chikrin here got a +1, now an 87. You then have Protas here getting a +1, now an 86. For a guy that's having a solid year, but not like an amazing year, coming off 30 points, this is another one, kind of like Marco Rossi, where it just doesn't really add up when you compare it to other players. Like, Tom Wilson, there's an 86, but he's obviously got all that physicality to him. I think Protas definitely too high rated right now. McMichael there actually wasn't touched. I thought he was. Tom Wilson, though, got a +1, being 86. And then behind Sandin, you got Dubois there, back to being 84. I think I mentioned at 83, he was definitely too low. Same with potential. At least medium top 6 for Dubois. After that, they still do have a couple more boosts here. Like, they honestly got a ton. Radish there got a +1, and then also Jacob Veranda, right where I can find him. He also got a +1, and then I think the only downgrades actually Alexiev -1 there from a 79 to a 78. And now finally here, guys, you got the Winnipeg Jets. Kyle Connor got a +1, now a 93. I'm a big fan of Kyle Connor. 93 though seems like a little bit high. I don't want to go off just 4 nations, but is a 93 overall getting scratched? It's kind of crazy. We're just going to go off EA ratings here. Would you rather play 93 overall Kyle Connor or an injured 93 overall Matthew Tkachuk? Because apparently the Americans would rather play an injured 93 overall Matthew Tkachuk compared to a guy same rating that was healthy. That decision makes no sense to me. I think Kyle Connor definitely could have helped him a lot more. Even like, say Chris Kreider. If Matthew Tkachuk had to play, take out Chris Kreider, put in Kyle Connor. That one did not make a ton of sense to me. Now, after him, they actually got a bunch of upgrades. The first one's going to be Neil Pionk there, up to an 88. Ehlers stayed the same. Velarde got a +1, now an 87. Dylan Sandberg, wherever he is, he got a +1, up to an 82. On my chart, it says he's supposed to be 83, so I'm not sure if he was like 81 before and went up to 82, or they forgot to actually boost him, because Sandberg's actually really solid defensively. He could be an 83. Also, two guys should point out, Perfetti here got a downgrade, was an 86, and now an 85. And then finally here, for Winnipeg, the last change is going to be Rasmus Kupari. He got a +1 rating, and now a 78. So, I mean, overall, of course, Winnipeg's doing unreal this year. It makes sense. They'd have a ton of guys, get a rating boost. And I think, for the most part, their ratings are pretty good. And now next year, guys, looking at goaltenders. So no changes there for the Anaheim ones, both 85s. I'd probably have them like both 84s. Boston here, Jamie Swayman down by 1 to 86. I know he's not having the best season, but like the 3 years before that, he was unreal. This seems a bit too low. Again, too much recency bias. Corby Sal there also got downgraded by 1 to 82. That is fine. On Buffalo there, Luukkonen down 1 to 85. Again, I think, that's probably fine. Calgary here, Justin Wolf gets a +2, now an 86. I mean, he's having a really solid first year. I know, like, with the rookies, the ratings, I said, don't want to boost them too high, but Dustin Wolf's honestly playing unreal, and goaltenders don't usually have crazy values. Some I'm actually pretty fine with. Anderson, Kochikov there, both stay the same. Chicago, no changes. Colorado here, Mackenzie Blackwood got a +2, now an 86. His numbers last year, below 900, now an 86. He's playing unreal in the Avs. So again, it depends, I guess, how you want to grade goaltenders. I'd probably have them like 84, maybe 85. Columbus here, I actually don't think they had any changes. Dallas here, Jake Andre got a +1, now a 92. I do think he's one of the better goalies in the league. Talbot 86, Line 83. I'd probably have it more like 85, 84, just based on like, how they share their games. Skinner there, 84. No change to the Edmonton goalies. Florida ones as well stay the same. LA here, Darcy Kemper got a +1, now an 84. Looking at the ratings of some other goalies, I think Kemper could probably be like an 85. Minnesota here, Gustin got a +1, now an 88. Is that a little bit high for Gustin? I think it might be. Montreal there, no changes. Next up here, we got Nashville, another team actually, no goalie changes. The Devils here, no changes. Islanders here, you got Varlamov dropping in rating from an 83 to an 82. On the Rangers, Shesterkin kind of surprisingly drops by 1 to a 92. So here's one where, like, is Shesterkin the same as Ottinger? I don't think so. That one doesn't make too much sense to me. I feel like most people would still say Shesterkin's the best goalie in the league, whereas Ottinger's, like, maybe top 5. I definitely wouldn't have him, in the debate for number 1. Ottawa there, no changes. Flyers also have not had any changes. I think Erson, you could probably honestly downgrade a little bit. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins here, Blomqvist there's 81. He's up in the NHL now with Nedeljkovic. I would definitely give him elite potential. He's one of the better, young goalies in the league, opposed to just having medium starter. Not shown there, but Jari down in the AHL is also now an 81. Then Vanacek and Georgiev there each got dropped by 1, 81, 80 respectively. You don't see him. Grubauer also got dropped by 1 to an 80. You're having a tough season when you're not even, like, in the NHL as a goalie. Blues, no changes. We could maybe, like, give Binnington some more poise there for the clutch factor. Vasilevsky got a +1, now 93. That's probably too high for Vasilevsky. Is he better than Shesterkin? I don't think so, but open to that debate. Toronto there, no change to them. Utah, Connor Ingram got a -1, now an 81. Then on Vancouver here, you got Demko getting a -1, now a 90. I think that's definitely more fair for him than, like, the 92 he started the year out at. Probably should be somewhere between 88 and 90, so no surprise for him to be on the high end there. Then Vegas Golden Knight goaltending here, no changes. Finally, you have Washington here, Logan Thompson, 87. He gets a +2, obviously having an unreal year. Is that still a bit, too high based on this year? Maybe. I think Thompson, 85, 86 makes more sense. Connor Hellebuck there, no change. Still a 94. And then Comrie actually got a +1 and now an 81. So, the goalies, again, a lot of recency bias. I think it's too much so in some cases, but other cases, definitely, it made sense to adjust them. And in terms of prospects, guys, I can't really find any changes. They do have Martone here, as well as Schaefer and Michael Misa, who are all going to be, top 5 picks. No one really knows who's going to be that number 1 at 75 overall, mediumly potential. I checked on McKenna and DuPont. They're both still like 71 franchise. Now, Daigle's potential has dropped from medium elite to medium starter, which is good to see. He might not even go like first 3 rounds of the draft. So him still being elite was definitely too high. And looking at a couple top Swedish prospects, guys, you can see Frondell here and Eklund, 74, 71 respectively with elite potential. They still have Frondell listed as a left winger, even though he's actually a center. Not sure why they can't fix that one. Also, too, kind of cool, actually, in the SHL, go to Frölunda here. You can see they've actually finally added Ivar Stenberg. Now, he should go 2nd overall. At least that's where they have him going right now in 2026 behind Gab McKenna. And he's supposed to be, like, really, really good. So he should have at least medium-elite potential, if not high elite. Obviously, McKenna franchise is the better player, but Stenberg's supposed to be very, very good as well. I also think he does play center, so hopefully they can fix some of that. But overall, guys, I mean, I don't know. It's okay, I guess, the roster changes. If you're on Xbox, I would highly recommend, downloading my Vasi Tugis roster. And if you're on PlayStation, I think there's some better ones as well. That's going to do it, guys, for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.